Hey there, boys and girls. We're continuing on with elements, compounds, and mixtures. Remember, when you're watching this video and you're taking your notes, you can stop the video at any time so that you can slow down and write what you need to write down. Make sure you write down everything that I wrote down. Remember, too, that you can rewind it if you miss something. All right, so let's take a look at this diagram. Think back to the video we saw where they were describing the differences between elements and compounds. Elements, they said, were one or more of the same atoms. So if you notice, they said hydrogen requires two atoms to be one molecule of hydrogen. So they're in pairs. Notice the same size, same shape. That's important. And then a compound is when two elements, two different kind of elements, come together and a chemical reaction has occurred. So they're now bonded. They're chemically bonded, which means we cannot undo this change because a new substance has occurred. In this case, we look at this piece right here, all right, and you see there are two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. So that gives us H2O, which is a compound. We know it as water. A mixture, they touched on that. They said a mixture is a mix of two different type of atoms as well, but no chemical change has occurred. There's been no reaction. So we can still separate these. All right, so you see here that the oxygen are connected to each other or bonded with each other, same size, same shape. And then the hydrogen are also bonded to each other, same size, same shape. Now, as you take your notes, you're going to make sure to write down exactly what I write down, and you're going to color exactly what I color. Same colors so that we can make sure we keep our information correct, guys. Let's begin. So you've got your handout. You've got a section for elements and a section here where we'll do some examples, compounds, and mixtures. Let's begin at the top corner where the star is. It says two principal ways of classifying matter are according to its physical state. Now, if you remember, guys, physical state means is it a solid, liquid, or gas? And the second one, and its composition. Composition is what is it made out of? Is it an element? Is it a compound or a mixture? Pause the video if you need to. Now you're going to color it exactly the way I did. The next section is elements. Elements contain only one type of atom. Elements cannot be broken down into simpler substances by either physical or chemical means. Elements can exist as either atoms or molecules, like the example oxygen, which is O2. Remember, pause the video if you need to. Now you're going to color it just like I did here. The box on the right shows us examples of how you will see elements. They can be written by their symbol. So you have Na, capital letter N, lowercase letter a, capital letter F, capital letter B for boron, fluoride. And then you've got oxygen, which is represented by a capital letter O and a 2, because remember they require two atoms to make one molecule, and the same for hydrogen. Now you might see them also represented by a single shape, but notice how they're the same size and same color. Now here it's a different shape, but these are all the same. and then representing like oxygen or hydrogen. They're the same size, same shape. So these are all different ways that you could see something that represents an element. Make sure you color just as I did. Remember to pause the video if you need to. Moving on to compounds. Compounds contain atoms of two or more different elements bonded together in a specific ratio. Remember, ratio means that they are equivalent, they're equal. The compounds can be broken down into simpler substances, meaning we can tell which elements they are by chemical means, but not by physical, right? We can't just split them up. We have to completely break them down. Compounds have different properties than its component elements. So the compound could look different than the elements that create it. Let's look at some examples. There's the way we're going to color it. Remember to pause the video if you need to. Our examples show H2O, right? It would be like 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Then you've got Na for sodium, Cl for chloride. That's the chemical formula for table salt, or C6H12O6. That is the chemical formula that represents sugar or glucose. Now, you may see them same size but different color. That represents 2 different elements, or 2 completely different colors and 2 completely different shapes, like this one here, or like this little guy here, where it's 2 same shape but 2 different colors and 2 different sizes. Remember to pause the video if you need to. Moving on to mixtures. Mixtures contain 2 or more substances. They can be elements or compounds, and they are not bonded together. These can be separated physically. So you can actually do this with your, you could do this with your hand. You don't need a chemical reaction to separate them. Mixtures retain many of the same properties of its components. So when you mix them all together, more than likely, they could be related somehow. Let's look at some examples. Pause the video if you need to. And don't forget to color it. So our examples, think of a salad. You can have lettuce, tomato, cucumbers, carrots, but they're all still parts of a salad. All right, in the video we watched, they talk about air. So you've got oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. Those are all elements. And then you've got H2O. That's what makes the air thick and humid, the moisture, the water. You also have other gases and CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, methane. Then you've got representation here, mixture, where same size, same shape, but different colors. We could separate these just like beads. Or these ones that are compounds with the red triangle and the yellow circle, but these elements that are the little blue circles by themselves. Or a mix of compounds again here. And remember we said those elements that are bonded by two, hydrogen and oxygen, for example. Remember to still pause if you need to. Now, the very bottom, guys, you try this. Think about it. How do you know that water is not simply a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen? Oxygen and hydrogen are both gases that are chemically bonded to create the water. They cannot be separated physically. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Make sure you check your notes, glue this in to your journal, and have a great day.